Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Moon Podcast. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what makes a good friend. I'll begin with a quote from C.S. Lewis, the author who wrote the Chronicles of Narnia. Quote, "Friendship is unnecessary. Like philosophy, like art, it has no survival value. Rather, it is one of those things which give value to survival." End quote. C.S. Lewis from his book The Four Loves. And I think it's true. Friends are good for our well-being. C.S. Lewis clearly understood Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which I previously talked about in a previous podcast. Of course, friendship is not as vital as food in order to survive, and neither is art. However, what C.S. Lewis was getting at here is that friendship adds value to our lives. Friendship is something we share between people, especially those we care about. Of course, this applies to family too. And of course, not all friendship is blood-related. So, to expand from here, I went around asking friends and family this question: what makes a good friend? After a few moments of thoughts and some puzzled faces, they shared the following: honesty, reliability, dependability. Someone who makes you laugh, someone you look forward to seeing, someone who cares about your well-being, someone sincere, someone you can relax with, someone to have a snack with, someone you share good news with, someone with who you pick up where you left off after a long time passes, someone who doesn't judge you, someone who doesn't desert you, someone who is happy to see you progress, someone you don't need to impress, someone who is there for you when things get tough, and someone who supports you and encourages you. I agree with all of the above statements, and to add to that, I would also say someone you crack jokes with and someone you happily spend time with. I'm sure you can think of many examples. This is common knowledge. Of course, some societies and cultures may vary. Anyone you ask will say pretty much the same thing. When all this comes together, we find the following components: trust, loyalty, empathy and understanding, respect, communication, reliability, dependability, shared interests, common values, support and encouragement, acceptance and being non-judgmental, and fun and laughter. So, to start with, why is trust so important? I would posit that trust is the most vital component of friendship. You see, it works like this. Trust is when you can depend on someone, for example, such as the ability to keep promises. Another component that goes hand in hand with this is honesty. When you are honest, you are open to communication that is truthful. Without being fake or deceitful, honesty is vital. It is a demonstration that someone is willing to share valuable information without any bad intentions or deception. How many times have we had difficult conversations with someone? How did we overcome them? The chances are the successful ones were a result of openness and honesty. What also goes hand in hand with honesty is integrity. It's a moral value. If one can hold on to their principles in challenging times, it is a demonstration of consistency and of someone being authentic. Once again, this goes back to what I said about trust. Because if someone is trustworthy enough, this person is ideal to share valuable and sometimes confidential information with. In other words, to share secrets. A good friend respects the boundaries of a friend's privacy. While we are on the subject of boundaries, there is an element of understanding and empathy. This includes being attentive to their emotions, validating their experiences, and demonstrating a genuine concern for their well-being. Another thing that makes a good friend is accountability and responsibility. Let's say when someone messes up or makes a horrible mistake, a good friend would own up to it and apologize. They would do things to make up for their mistakes. They would make the effort to make amends and promise to never do it again. This is a sign of respect. Respect is the recognition of one's worth, dignity, and rights. I think respect is a demonstration of politeness and courtesy with the appropriate manners and language. While we are on the subject of respect, there are some unwritten rules you mustn't break. For example, when you borrow something, you give it back, especially money. When you borrow money from someone, you pay it back quickly. When you cause harm to someone, you make it up to them, intentionally or not. This goes back to what I mentioned earlier about apologizing to make amends. The quicker you do it, the better it gets. Therefore, you can quickly improve the relationship as time goes by. Another example of not breaking any social rules is you never, ever form a relationship with a friend's ex-partner. That is an act of betrayal. That is the same reason why we don't betray our friends. This breaks the loyalty and the trust between the two or more. One thing I have seen that breaks trust between friends the most is gossiping. Gossiping is bad because it spreads negative rumors about people and it spreads negative energy. It upsets people. People who gossip usually lie and say bad things about other people behind their backs because they are too weak and cowardly to express their opinions directly to their faces. A good friend does not gossip or spread rumors, especially about you. Saying negative things about people, especially your own friends, is an act of betrayal. It shows that they don't have the person's well-being in mind. If there is a problem, you have to talk to them directly. Of course, it's not a comfortable conversation, but you cannot make an omelette without breaking some eggs. As humans, we need to learn to deal with conflict. It is vital in order to mature. After all, a good friend is someone you trust. A good friend does not go around telling everyone your secrets. Secrets are private. They are personal. They are not meant to be accessed by everyone. When you tell a friend a secret, you are basically inviting that person into a unique social circle where nobody is allowed in except the people you invite. And only the information shared is only between you two. Or more people, depending on who and how many you want to invite. No one else is allowed in or has access to that information. A good friend would not break that rule. Another example is this. A good friendship is when you all play by the rules and not break them. When you do, it breaks the collective agreement between the two or more parties. Cheating is an immoral act. Let's say you are playing a game and someone breaks the rules. It's not a fair game and the outcome is undeserved, therefore unjustifiable. The same applies to a written agreement. Supposing two or more persons decides to start a business and they agree to work together as a team. But if one person is doing all the work while the rest are not contributing, then it is an act of betrayal because the other individuals are not fulfilling their side of the deal. Hence, the exchange is unfair, therefore cheating, and worse, exploitative. Good friends keep their promises and work together to help achieve their goals. Which brings me to my next point. Good friends have common interests, such as music, movies, theatre, literature, or whatever it is they have interests in. The chances are this is what brought them together. Although it is not necessary to have the exact same goals, it is helpful to have acquaintances we can grow and work together with. Regardless, they share different tastes. Good friendship builds up a good teamwork. When a group of people come together with the same interests, they can achieve a common goal. In order for this to work, there is support and encouragement. There is emotional support as well as practical support. What is also helpful is that good friends give constructive feedback to help us grow and improve. Remember, a good friend is not judgmental. A good friend accepts you as you are. A good friend believes in you, your abilities, and your potential to overcome your challenges, so that when you do overcome your challenges, we celebrate our achievements together. It's an acknowledgement of our friends' accomplishments, expressing pride and sharing in their joy and success. And last but not least, there is fun and laughter. What we love, we share among our friends. A good friend is someone you have fun with. A good friend knows how to have a good time. They bring joy, laughter, and positive energy into the friendship, making it enjoyable, a fulfilling experience. You are never bored. even when you are together. Heck, even boredom is shared in a positive way. A good friend is someone you have laughs with. It's a reassuring, comfortable environment. A good friend is good for our mental well-being. I believe everyone should have a good friend, someone to talk to, someone to confide in, and mutually, someone to support. Let us remember that friendship is a game of give and take. We give as well as receive. Now, remember when I started this podcast with a quote from C.S. Lewis? Let's play a little guessing game. Who was a well-known good friend of his? His name is J.R.R. Tolkien, the man who wrote The Lord of the Rings. I find it very fitting that both of these men wrote fantasy novels that centered around faith and friendship, and they too were good friends in real life. Here is a quote from Tolkien's The Return of the King. Quote, "I am glad you are here with me, here at the end of all things, Sam." Unquote. And this one. Quote, "I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you." Unquote. This is Sam, who is Frodo's best friend, also in The Return of the King. I highly recommend you read The Lord of the Rings. And finally, I will conclude with some quotes from C.S. Lewis. Quote, "Friendship arises out of mere companionship, when two or more of the companions discover that they have in common some insight or interest or even taste which the others do not share, and which, till that moment, each believed to be his own unique treasure or burden. The typical expression of opening friendship would be something like, 'What? You too? I thought I was the only one.'" End quote. And this one. Quote, "It is when two such persons discover one another, when, whether with immense difficulties and semi-articulate fumblings, or with what seems to us amazing and elliptical speed, they share their vision. It is then that friendship is born, and instantly they stand together in an immense solitude." Unquote. These two quotes are from the book that C.S. Lewis wrote called The Four Loves, which I highly recommend, along with his Chronicles of Narnia series. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope this has been enlightening and uplifting to you. If you have any thoughts on what makes a good friend, then feel free to share them in the comment section below. Better yet, share this podcast with your friends. Take good care of yourselves.